Welcome to My Hard Drive Died, episode number 3. In this podcast, we talk about hard drives and pretty much everything about them. You know, data recovery, from that side all the way to the side of the actual hardware that makes up a hard drive and how it works. And to join us, I'm happy to have Scott Moulton, who is the creator of myharddrivedied.com, which is a data recovery website. You could go there and you could, if you have data you need recovered off your drive, he is the man to do it. He is a hard drive wizard, and I'm happy to have him here. Now, before we get into the interview with Scott, I want to make a quick announcement that on Podnutz.com, you're able to buy now, or pre-order at least, the laptop repair video collection. So if you're interested in knowing how to fix laptops and you ever wanted to know how to do that, I've put together a collection of videos in HD. It's 10 hours, over 10 hours of HD video on how to fix laptops. It's all done personally by myself. All the laptop repairs I've been doing the last couple months, I've taped them and I narrate over them, and I go over pretty much everything you need to know about laptops. You can pre-order them for $47 up until September 1st. And then after September 1st, which is actually the release date, the videos will be on sale for $67. So if you want to buy early, you could save a little bit of money. If not, definitely buy them when they're released, and you will be able to fix laptops by the time you're done watching those videos. Okay, now for the interview with Scott. Okay, Scott, thanks for joining us today. This is the third episode of My Hard Drive Died. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Very good. And your site is myharddrivedied.com. And tell us again a quick little thing about your site, and then we'll go over some of the exciting stuff you've been doing the last couple of weeks.
Well, basically, we're a data recovery company, and we also run a forensics company side by side. So we're doing some of the same processes for data recovery that we would be doing for forensics. And it's basically on my site. I have a lot of presentations and stuff that I've done at previous conferences and things that I've spoke at. We'll actually have postings and videos and stuff up for do-it-yourself kind of repair stuff. I kind of give it away and try to teach people how they can do their own thing. That, you know, if they want to send it to me and we want to go through the professional side, I'm happy to do that. But you know, for the people who don't want to spend $1,000 or more, that they can do it locally on their own.
Wow, you give a lot of stuff away.
Well, thanks. Yes, I try.
You're a traveling man too. You've been talking at some conferences. What's been exciting the last couple of weeks?
Well, this past weekend was DEFCON 17. So this was like my fifth or sixth speech or something there, years in a row. And so I kind of gave a little bit of a different talk this time. Usually I do physical repair, like how to actually repair heads and platters on the disk, and try to give like a 50-minute presentation on that. But this time I took it to the logical side, because I get these questions about RAID arrays all the time. And we've previously done a talk on RAID here. So yeah. So it was kind of an emphasis on that kind of side, where I actually walk through how to repair a RAID array, and how, if you don't know anything about the order of the disks and what they are, how you can actually tell just by visually looking at pictures and stuff on the RAID array how it is assembled, and how you can guess at what the correct configuration is.
You could do this from pictures?
Yes, that's primarily how I do it most of the time. There are some tools that try to do it for you automatically, or try to present a best guess. But if you don't know how the RAID array is configured, then what do you do? And that's basically what this whole idea was, is that I can do it fairly quickly by just not extracting. Most people will start a scan, and they will scan from beginning to end of a disk and whatever files they find, and that's what they use. Well, I have a method of just basically doing it in a couple of minutes, where I can get samples of pictures off the hard drive, and by looking at the samples of pictures, I can tell what the arrangement and the order of the RAID array is. It'll visually kind of look kind of like those puzzles where you have the sliding pieces that you slide around. Yeah. And I can kind of tell by looking at that how many disks there are, how many slices there are, what the slice size is, and which order the disks go in. And it's a little bit of work, but you can visually tell by looking at the pictures. And in some cases, MP3s, sound files, can give you an idea about it. It's not quite as quick as looking at pictures. So I also had some sound samples and stuff that I played at DEF CON as well.
Okay. You got me intrigued here. So you mean, what do you look at in these pictures? Like when they were created, or how much of the picture is actually presenting itself? Or
well, if you take a look down from a standpoint of, let's extract a picture, and a JPEG, if a JPEG is corrupt, there's a couple of ways that you can actually kind of tell what the picture and stuff looks like. So for instance, in most cases on a RAID array, the slice size is going to be somewhere between, it's usually going to be at least 32K or larger in most cases. You can have really small slice sizes, but let's say it's an 8K slice size. Most of the time, a small thumbnail will fit under that size. So if you were to say have a 2 meg picture on your hard drive and it was sliced up over the RAID array into different arrangements, and you do a search for a JPEG header, so you could easily go like to any Wikipedia and look at JPEG, and it'll tell you that your JPEG header is going to be FFD8FF. So you do a search for that. Then you search for the end of a JPEG, which is going to be FFD9. And when you search for that, you'll actually get the thumbnail, which is sometimes stored in the beginning of the picture. You will find that as well because it has the same signature as the full-size picture. Okay. And if you save the thumbnail, if you save that information, when you look at it in Explorer, it will automatically tell you what the size of the picture is. So you could say, look, its dimensions are 2600 by 3600 or something like that. You can take those 2 dimensions and plug them into a calculator, basically if you go look for file sizes, like how to calculate your file size, on megapixels, there are megapixel calculators on the web, and you can plug those 2 numbers in and it'll tell you how big the picture is supposed to be. Okay. So if you take that, you can guesstimate by looking at your slice sizes. So if a picture is supposed to be 2 megs, you can even though the whole picture won't display, you'll get the corrupt data. You'll just open it up and you'll see the beginning of a slice size. You'll see something that looks normal. Then you'll start seeing these things that look like they're rotating, like parts of the picture are not in the right place, but they're still parts of the picture. And then eventually you'll get to a spot where the data is just corrupt and you can't see it, and it just looks like a big gray area or something. Okay. If you know the picture is supposed to be 2 megs, you can basically divide that thing up into segments that would say, here's where 32K is, here's where 64K is, here's where 128K is, and so on, all the way down through the whole picture. And then whichever pieces are actually contiguous that look correct, that's what your slice size is going to be. You'll be able to actually see that the beginning of your picture, like if it's a wall, will the wall be intact down to what would have been 64K or 32K or 128, and you'll be able to actually tell. And I demonstrate this, and pretty soon the video will be published, so it'll make sense to people. I have put my slides up on my website, so if people want to see this, I actually have like a little chart and a little graph kind of broken out so you can see it. But if you go to My Hard Drive Died, and you go to Presentations, and you go to DEFCON 17, there's slides there at the top that will show you piece by piece how I break it down, and then the order of the drives, how you rotate through them. So it starts to look like a jigsaw puzzle, and you can kind of start to just visually see how it's supposed to be laid out.
And then you'll be able to determine which drive is bad, or?
No, we're beyond what the bad drive is.